Let us discuss the topic for week 1. So before we discuss this topic, I want you to tell you the overview of this course. The course, power plant diesel. So this is all about the principles of 2-stroke and 4-stroke marine diesel engines. So this is taken from the table of competence, TCW table of competence A-3/1 function 1, chapter 4 under TOP 1.1. So basic construction and operation principles of marine diesel engine. So for your motivation, how to get the higher grade by presenting the grading system. So I did not attach a grading system here, but I can tell you what are those requirements in your grading system that you have to comply. So first, in your grading system, I tell you so exams. So in the whole semester, you have 5 exams. So first exam, second, third, fourth, and final. So this third exam is midterm. So all of these exams you have to comply. So that is required in your grading system. So another requirements, quizzes. So in this subject, you have 10 quizzes for the whole semester. So quiz 1 to quiz 10. So meaning quiz 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are your quizzes for the whole semester. So you have to comply all these requirements. So I give you an example. Let's say 10 items. So in order for you to know how what is the passing score, so you have to multiply it by 0.75. So equals 7.5, but there is no score 7.5, so you should have get the score of 8/10. So that so this is equivalent 7.5 is 75%. So let's say 25 items multiplied by 0.75. So that is 19 over 25. So that is equivalent to 75%. So the same also with let's say first exam is 40 items. For example, 40 items. So multiplied by 0.75 because your passing score and passing grade is 75%, which is zero base 75%. So this one equals 30 over 40 is equivalent to 75%. So another requirements. So I just erase first this one. So another requirements. For the whole semester, you have requirements which is oral recitation. So you have 3 column in your grading sheet. So 3 oral recitation, and you have also class participation. So what where I am taking your class participation. So one example there is your attendance. So you have to comply all of these requirements. So another requirements is your project and assignment. So project assignment. So you have to comply these requirements. And you have also lab exercises. So in for the whole semester, you have exercises 1 to 15, meaning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 exercises for the whole semester. So you have to comply all those requirements. Otherwise, if you are lacking of lab manual exercises, let's say you are lacking of 2 exercises, and there is a big possibility that you will fail the subject because the weight of this lab exercises is 65%, which is the highest. So you have to comply this one. So the last but not the least, your assessment. So for midterm and final. So practical assessment. So all of those requirements in your grading sheet, you have to comply. So any lacking activities that you're not doing that particular activities, then it will be automatically deducted to your midterm grade and final grade. So be sure you comply all those mentions requirements in your grading sheets. So so that is how you will be able to get the higher grade, and of course you should have all of the uh, requirements, all of the activities. You should have a passing score. So we will continue with our topic. So in this topic, we have to discuss the history of the different engine types. So in here, the invention of the internal combustion engine. Various scientists and engineers contributed to the development of internal combustion engine. So in 1791, the English inventor John Barber patented a gas turbine. So anyway, you have you just, if you know this, if you want to know all of this, the beginning of this or the history of the engine, just read this one, and you can read also the encyclopedia. But I want to start here, which is very relevant to our main topic. So in 1892, Rudolf Diesel developed the first compressed charge compression ignition engine, so which is a diesel engine. In 1926, Robert Goddard launched the first liquid fuel rocket. So this for the rocket. 1939, the Henkel, he became the world's Henkel He-178 became the world's first jet aircraft. And in 1954, German engineer Felix Wankel patented a pistonless engine using an eccentric rotary design. So the turbojet engine. So let's continue. So we'll see here the old engine as they invented before. So old system engine. So as you look at the governor, the flyweight of the governor is you can see outside. But now the engine, this flyweight is located inside the governor. So you cannot see anymore. Flyweight outside. So let us proceed. So these are engines that they are invented long time ago, since 17th century. So you cannot see anymore this type of engine nowadays. So next, basic difference between the internal combustion engine and the external combustion engine. So here, external combustion engine, meaning an external combustion engine uses working fluid, either a liquid or gas or both, that is heated by a fuel born outside the engine. So one example of external combustion engine which is still existing nowadays is steam engine, which is gas turbine, steam turbine. So later on I will show you the example, the video of the external combustion engine. So here, external versus internal combustion engine. So the difference between external and internal combustion engine is quite straightforward and is made obvious by the difference in their name. So external versus internal, it's already different. So in external combustion engine, the fuel isn't burned inside the engine. With an internal combustion engine, the combustion chamber lies right on the middle of the engine. So I will make a simple presentation here. So external combustion engine, the fuel, it says here, the fuel is burned outside. Isn't burned inside the engine cylinder. So meaning outside. So where is this fuel being burned? So here there is a boiler. So boiler. So the fuel and air mixture is being burned through the boiler furnace to heat water. This water produces steam, and this steam is used to run the steam turbine. So there is no burning of fuel in the steam turbine. Instead, the burning of fuel is in the boiler. So that's why that engine is called external combustion engine, or ECE. Now I will demonstrate also to you the internal combustion engine. So internal combustion engine, so here, let's say this is the engine cylinder. So this is your crankshaft. So the fuel is, so here is the cylinder head. The fuel is burned inside the cylinder, the engine cylinder. So the air and fuel mixture is burned inside the engine cylinder. So that is why it is called internal combustion engine, or ICE. So now let us proceed. So this is an example of external combustion engine. So an example of external combustion engine is steam engine. So it's one type of external combustion engine. In a steam engine, a fuel such as coal or bunker fuel is burned in the combustion chamber. Here, combustion chamber of the boiler. So this heat turns water into boiler to steam. Pipes carry the steam into the turbine, which has a series of blades attached to a shaft. So as you can see here, there is a burning of air and fuel inside the furnace of the boiler, and in this pipe there is a water circulated. So the water is being heated and produces steam. As you can see here on top of the steam drum, there is a steam produced. So this steam produced is pressurized, and it is flowing to the steam turbine. So the steam turbine blades is spinning or rotating due to the pressure of the high pressure of the steam. And this steam turbine blade is connected to the shaft, and the generator is connected to the shaft. So the generator is producing electricity. So if this steam turbine is the main engine of your ship, then your ship will run. So this is an example of external combustion engine, because in the steam turbine engine itself there is no burning of air and fuel mixture, instead in the boiler, which is outside the engine. So that is external combustion engine. So let us continue. So now, here is an example also of the internal combustion engine, because we are differentiating here between the internal combustion engine and the external combustion engine. So here, as you can see, there is a burning of air and fuel mixture inside the engine cylinder. As you can see, all of the cylinder has a burning of air and fuel, and this is called combustion. So this is called internal combustion engine because the fuel and air, the air and fuel mixture is burned inside the engine cylinder, as you can see. So as you can see, it is firing inside. There's a combustion, so that is an internal combustion engine, or ICE. So let us proceed. So let us come with the different classification of internal combustion engine. So engine design and classification. So here in my presentation here, I use automotive engines. So automotive engines are generally classified according to the different, according to the following different categories. So on board the ship, our engine is bigger, big engine. But here, although this is a smaller engine because this is for automotive, but they are the same in principle. But in the design, like cooling system and others, they are different, but the principle is the same. But here, so how this engine are categorized and classified according to their categories. So we have internal combustion engine IC and external combustion engine EC. So we have also type of fuel, which is petrol. So petrol, this is a British term, but in American term, this is gasoline. So we have diesel, gas, so biofuel, and alternative fuels. So we have also number of strokes. So we have engine 2-stroke, so either petrol or diesel, 2-stroke diesel engine. We have also 4-stroke petrol engine or gasoline engine, and we have also a 4-stroke diesel engine. So type of ignition. So we have spark ignition or SI engine, and we have also compression ignition or CI engine. So a spark ignition is a petrol engine or gasoline engine, and compression ignition is a diesel engine. So why this is called spark ignition? Because of the method of igniting fuel. So this is SI ignition is using spark of the spark plug to ignite fuel, whereas in compression ignition engine, which is diesel engine, uses heat of compression. Heat of compression to ignite fuel. So another number of cylinders, so from 1 to up to 18 cylinders. Arrangement of cylinders, which are inline. We have also inline, V-type, W-type, horizontal, and radial type. Motion of piston, we have reciprocatory or reciprocating motion, and rotary. So reciprocating motion, reciprocatory. So our example here is our internal combustion engine. So this is your cylinder, for example. This is your piston. So reciprocating motion, down, up. Whereas in the, this is ICE. Example of rotary is steam engine. Or steam turbine. So that is rotary engine. So we have also here engine cooling methods such as air cooled, liquid cooled, water based, oil cooled. Oil is cooled separately. So one example here is a combination of air and water cooled. So our automotive engines like truck, cars. So it is a combination of air and water cooled. So the water is circulated to your engine jacket, and it is flowing to the radiator. So radiator has a fan, and it is suctioning air, and the air is passing to the radiator, and then the engine cooling water is passing to the coil of the radiator. So it is being cooled. So it is a combination of air and water. So in the shape, it is always because it is a big engine, it is always cooled by seawater. So the fresh water is being cooled by seawater. So the fresh water is being cooled by seawater on board the ship. So we have also natural aspirated engine, so meaning there is no turbo. So it is the piston itself is taking suction of air when the intake valve is open. Turbocharged engine, so meaning there is a turbocharger or a supercharger or supercharged. So the conventional automotive engine consists of the following parts. So just read the parts of the engine. So according to the arrangement of the cylinders, an engine is classified primarily into the following categories. So we have inline. So we have inline type. We have also V type, W type, flat horizontally opposed engine, opposed piston, and radial. So just remember this when you hear this, the cylinders are in a straight line. This one. This means inline engine. The angle between the cylinders from V shape. So remember, these cylinders form V shape. This one is B-type engine. So what is an inline engine? Its design and characteristics. So an inline engine is a type of engine design that is very basic and conventional. In this type of engine construction, the cylinders are placed in a straight line. Remember this keyword. So as you can see here, the cylinder is arranged in a straight line. So that is inline type engine. So we have also here what is an V engine or B type engine, its design, construction, and advantages. So let us proceed. The B engine is a newer generation compact engine design. This engine construction places the cylinder at an angle instead of in a straight line with each other. So as you can see here, this is form V. That's why we call this engine B-type engine. So cylinders at an angle of 60 to 90 degrees. So one example here, the application is this big bike, the Honda big bike has a fitted of B-type engine. But on board the ship, I experienced this before. I experienced Caterpillar engine. So this engine, it is a disadvantage to the engineers during overhauling because a lot of piston to overhaul. So I experienced a Caterpillar engine which is 16 cylinders. So a lot of piston to overhaul, which has if the engine is inline, so there are only a few pistons and it is comfortable to overhaul because only few piston has the inline engine, whereas the B-type engine in a bigger engine has a lot of piston. So we have also here the advantages. the engine. So the smallest of all the 8-cylinder engines. So the low position of bonnet helps in better aerodynamics, increases primarily balance and reduces vibrations. The smoother operation for high speed performance. Compactness makes it suitable for high-end cars, sports cars. So this is good for the automotive engines, but in the marine engine, if it is this, if the engine is B type, so it is during overhauling, a lot of piston to overhaul, a lot of piston. So it is not comfortable for the engineers during maintenance, overhauling. So I will show you an example of B-type engine. So as you can see, that is B-type engine. So if we have a B-type engine, we have also W-type engine. So in this engine construction, the engine has the 3 rows of cylinders placed at an angle. So the angle between the cylinder rows form a W shape, and that is why it is a W engine design. So in my experience, I did not see this engine before. I do not know where this engine uh, is being applied or fitted. But because usually on board the ship, as we are using inline engine because they are bigger engine. I experienced also B-type engine, but W-type, this is probably an old engine. So nowadays I did not see this type engine. I saw similar type, but it is not engine, but it is an aircon compressor. So it is driven by electric motor. So the same arrangement of the cylinder W type.
It was a Torre Bugatti who, at the beginning of the last century.
So we have also flat horizontally opposed engine. So the main advantage of flat horizontally opposed engines is that it allows a lower center of gravity, thereby helping in improving vehicle performance. So this type of engine is used in Subaru cars. We have here the clips. So this is called also boxer engine. So they are mostly fitted to Subaru automotive cars. So that is a flat engine, as you can see. So the piston is in a horizontal position, both sides. So we will proceed in the type of cycle used. In SI engines use Otto cycle, while CI engine use diesel cycle. So we have here. So now this is for your information, internal combustion engine uses the principles of thermodynamics. So we have here a PV diagram for the ideal diesel cycle. So the cycle follows the numbers 1 to 4 in a clockwise rotation. So we have here. So later on, we have to differentiate what is the difference between the Otto cycle and the diesel cycle. So Otto cycle. So if you were being interviewed, let's see the question. What is the difference between the Otto cycle engine and the diesel cycle engine? So you have to answer the Otto cycle engine. During the ignition and the combustion, the pressure is increases, while the diesel cycle engine, during the ignition and combustion, the pressure is constant. So here is the what we call the diagram. So remember the 4 events of the engine while the engine is in running condition. So these are the 4 events. With the engine, so engine running. So we have intake, compression, power, exhaust. So we will apply now our pressure volume diagram. So as you can see here, this one is intake. From 1 to 2 is compression. 2 to 3 is ignition. And combustion. So as you can see here, during ignition, that's why when we are differentiating Otto cycle between the diesel cycle, we will answer, as you can see, the pressure is constant from 2 to 3. Later on, you can see the difference in the Otto cycle because the ignition is from here. ignition and combustion to there later on. And then, followed by the ignition is power, or we call in the thermodynamics, that is isentropic, this one, isentropic compression, this one, isentropic compression, or here, when we apply to the engine, that is power. That is power. And here, the compression, no, this is expansion, sorry. So this is expansion. So isentropic expansion. And here is isentropic compression. So from 3 to 4, that is called power. So we have here power. So intake, compression, power. And 4 to 1, that is exhaust. So that is exhaust. So that is the cycle of the engine, the diesel cycle. So 1 to 2 is isentropic compression. 2 to 3, reversible constant pressure, heating or heat addition. Here, QN is called heat addition. Because the ignition and combustion is occurring here in 2 and 3. Here is isentropic expansion, because the expansion of gases after the combustion is happening inside the cylinder, engine cylinder, and pushing the piston down. So this is your piston. This is your cylinder. And this is your piston. So during expansion here, combustion, there is an expansion of hot gases, and it is pushing down the piston so that the crankshaft will rotate. So that is isentropic expansion when we are using thermodynamics. And reversible constant volume, cooling, here the exhaust. So Q out is called heat rejection. So this is heat rejection. Heat rejection. So and it is being replaced by fresh air. That is why it is called cooling. So now, when we are talking talking the relation of the pressure to the volume. So as you can see, during intake, stroke, the volume of air here is higher from 0 to V1. It's higher. And then, so from V1 to pressure 2, so the volume is, so when the pressure, the piston will moving upward, the volume of air, as you can see, 0 to V2 is decreases, but the pressure increases from P1 to P2. So that is the relation of the pressure to volume of air. But during combustion, the pressure of the combustion inside the cylinder is constant during ignition and combustion, and it is uh, by the result of the combustion, there is an expansion of hot gases. So at the starting of the expansion, the pressure is highest or higher, and then it is lowering the pressure because the piston will go down and the space of the cylinder become bigger because the piston will move downward. So that is the 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 explanation of the diesel cycle, and we'll proceed to the next. So we have here the work in is done by the piston compressing, so from 1 to 2, and we have heat in, which is heat added, so it's done by the combustion, so from 2 to 3, and work out is done by the following fluid expanding and pushing the piston. This produces usable work, so from 3 to 4, and then heat out, or this is called heat rejection, so this is done by venting air, so from here 4 to 1, the exhaust gases is being released through the exhaust pipe leading to the atmosphere, and it is being pushed by the pressure of fresh air, and then the cycle repeats. Then it is from 1, again it is an intake stroke, then go back to compression stroke, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, power stroke, and 2 to 3, and 3 to 4 is the here is the ignition and the combustion, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4 is the power stroke, and 4 to 1 is the exhaust. So that is the cycle of the diesel engine when it is running. So we have here the parts of the engine. So you just read all the parts for your the purpose of your familiarization of the parts. So you just read. So in the description here, the internal combustion engine in which air is compressed. So as I discussed a while ago, so this compressed, this belongs to the diesel engine, or CI engine, because the method of igniting fuel here is by means of heat of compression. So chemical energy, which is your fuel; mechanical energy, which is the energy being created by your engine when this engine is running, so creating power. So as you can see here in this presentation, intake stroke, the piston is at bottom dead center, your intake valve is open, and the supply of air is entering to the cylinder. And when the compression stroke, the piston is moving upward, so your intake valve is closed, so your air is being compressed, so that is called compression. And we have here the power, so by spraying the fuel by the fuel injector, and because of the heat of compression, it will ignite the fuel and air mixture, and it result in a combustion inside the cylinder, and there is an expansion of gases, hot gases produced. Therefore, your piston is being pushed by the expansion gases. Your piston move down to rotate the crankshaft. The last one, the last stroke, which is exhaust stroke. So your exhaust valve is open, and then your piston is moving upward, and then your exhaust gases is being expelled or released through exhaust valve to the exhaust pipe leading to the atmosphere, and then it will return again to the intake stroke. So that is the cycle of internal combustion engine, which is in this presentation. This is a diesel engine. So we have here, we will proceed to the Otto cycle. Otto cycle is an idealized thermodynamic cycle that describes the following the functioning of the typical spark ignition piston engine. So it is the thermodynamic cycle most commonly found in automotive engine. So let us proceed. So here, I will explain to you how this Otto cycle working. We are using now pressure volume diagram applied taken from thermodynamics. So as you can see here, from 0 to 1 here, this is intake stroke. So for events, intake, compression, power, exhaust. So 1 to 2 is compression. 2 to 3 is ignition. So ignition, combustion. And then 3 to 4 is power or expansion. And then 4 to 3 to 4. 4 to 1 is exhaust. So as you can see, as I mentioned a while ago, during the ignition and combustion, the pressure is increases in the Otto cycle, while in the diesel cycle is constant. So in the diesel cycle is here, the pressure is constant, so 2 to 3. But in the Otto cycle is increasing, the pressure is increasing. So that is the difference of the Otto cycle and the diesel cycle. So when it comes also the pressure volume relation, so intake stroke is the same. The air is the volume of air is higher, so from 0 to 1, and it is increases from 1 to 2, and during ignition the pressure is increases, ignition and combustion, and from the starting of the expansion the pressure is higher and it is decreases because of the the expansion is pushing the piston downward, and the space of your cylinder here, so the piston is moving downward, so the space of the cylinder become bigger, so the pressure become lower in the expansion pressure. So here also we have the relation of the entropy, temperature and entropy. So this is temperature. So we have no calculation here because we are just studying the differences, the principle, using the thermodynamics diagram. So here is entropy. So as you can see, the relation, so here 1 to 2 is the compression, so the temperature during compression will is increasing, as you can see, and during ignition and combustion, the temperature is increases, and during expansion the temperature goes down, and also 4 to 1, which is the exhaust, the temperature goes down also. So from here to there, here, as you can see. So from here to there, so goes down. Then it go up again during compression. So next, so this is your Otto cycle in relation to the rotation of the crankshaft in relation to the position of piston. So here the piston is at TDC or top dead center, and here the piston is at BDC. So in this the position of your crankshaft at 30 degrees before top dead center, is ignition. This is igniting of air and fuel mixture at 30 degrees and at 15 degrees. So the intake valve open 15 degrees, and again valve overlap 10 degrees. So exhaust valve closes at 10 degrees. So in relation to the rotation of your crankshaft, and here intake valve closes this position, and this position exhaust valve opens. So that is the rotation of the crankshaft in relation to the position of the piston and the opening and closing of the intake and the exhaust valve. So we have here gasoline engine. It's a type of height engine, specifically an internal combustion engine that is powered by the gasoline. So in a British term, this is a petrol engine. Petrol. So now we will proceed with the basic difference between the internal combustion engine and the external combustion engine. So as you can see here, so the difference between SI or spark ignition engine, which is petrol engine or gasoline engine, and CI engine, which is combustion ignition engine or diesel engine. So as you can see here, in the SI engine, there is an spark plug. So this is spark plug. But here, in the CI engine, there is no spark plug, but you can see here injector. So this is spark plug. So here, the methods of igniting fuel here is by the use of spark. That's why this is called SI or spark ignition. So this is a gasoline engine. And this one is diesel engine. So the methods of igniting the fuel here in the diesel engine is heat of compression. So that is the difference between these two, the SI and the CI engine. So remember, when you are differentiating the spark ignition engine and the CI engine, you have to mention that the spark ignition engine uses a spark plug to ignite air and fuel mixture, whereas the CI ignition engine or combustion ignition engine uses heat of compression here in igniting the air and fuel mixture inside the cylinder. So the rest of the parts here, as you can see, they are all the same parts of the engine. The only difference here is the method of igniting fuel inside here the cylinder. So next. So what are these CI engines? The difference is actually the mode by which the fuel is ignited. SI here stands for spark ignition engine, and CI here stands for combustion ignition. So So that is the difference between the SI engine and CI engine. So the basic two types of internal combustion engine, which are spark ignition, SI engine, combustion ignition, CI engine. So when it comes to operational cycle, so as I already discussed, but here there is an explanation here, operational cycle. So now SI or spark ignition engines, which are also known as petrol engine, ignites the fuels on the base of Otto cycle, as I discussed a while ago, or constant heat volume addition cycle. So here the ignition is carried out with the help of a spark plug. So what the spark plug does, it is introduces spark into the combustion chamber where the fuel and air mixture are present. Whereas in case of the CI engine, also known as friction ignition engine, diesel engine, works on the principle of the diesel cycle or constant pressure heat addition cycle. So remember the difference. Here the ignition fuel is of course due to the pressure, temperature in the combustion chamber. Hence, no spark plugs are required in this case. So remember the difference. Diesel cycle uses constant pressure heat addition. So constant pressure and Otto cycle uses constant heat volume. Constant heat volume addition. So that is the difference of the operational cycle of the Otto cycle and diesel cycle. So let us continue. So we have here an illustration. So as you can see, there is an spark plug for the Otto cycle, which is igniting the air and fuel mixture inside the cylinder. But for the diesel cycle, there is no spark plug. As you can see here, there is an injector. So the methods of igniting fuel here in the diesel cycle is by the use of heat of compression, but here in the Otto cycle is using spark of the spark plug to ignite air and fuel mixture. Yeah. So this is also this is the diesel cycle CI engine, compression ignition engine, as you can see. So there is no spark plug, but there is an injector here, spring fuel, and the method of igniting fuel here is heat of compression. So we have the comparison here of the 2-stroke and 4-stroke. So when you are being asked, for example, by if you are being assessed by the assessor, let's say the question, what is the difference between 2-stroke and 4-stroke engine? So in terms of the construction, 2-stroke has no intake valve, but instead there is an scavenging port. This one. This is scavenging port. There is also exhaust valve here, but it is not shown, but this is understood. There is exhaust valve. Whereas in the 4-stroke engine, so this is in the 2-stroke engine. So whereas in the 4-stroke engine, in terms of construction, there is no scavenging port. Instead, there is intake valve, wherein the intake air is entering, as you can see. But here, there is no intake valve, but there is scavenging port or intake port, wherein the intake air is entering to the cylinder. So that is the difference between the two in terms of the construction. In terms of construction, so in terms of operation also. So in terms of operation, so 2-stroke engine completes 1 power cycle in 1 revolution of the crankshaft. So this is the power cycle intake. Compression, power, and exhaust. So 2-stroke engine completes 1 power cycle in 1 revolution of the crankshaft, whereas 4-stroke engine completes 1 power cycle in 2 revolution of the crankshaft. Here is 1 revolution. So that is the difference between this 2-stroke and 4-stroke when it comes to the operation and construction. So we will also discuss the steam turbine. So steam turbine is a device that extracts thermal energy. So steam engines and Stirling engines are 2 types of external combustion engines. So here, so this is an example of external combustion engine as I show you before. So this is steam engine. So use steam to turn the turbine. So why this is external combustion engine? Because the fuel is born outside the cylinder, which is in the boiler. So this is external combustion engine. So we have also here an example, Stirling engine. So Stirling engine is a heat engine that is operated by the cyclic compression on expansion of air or other gas. So nowadays, based on my experience, I did not see this type of engine. So this is Alpha type Stirling engine. So I don't know where this engine is, what application, what machine this engine is fitted. So, but since here in your topic there is a Stirling engine, so I include this engine here, this topic here, because this is included in your topic. So we have two types, alpha type Stirling engine, and we have also here beta type Stirling engine. So it's also this engine. So beta type Stirling engine has a single power piston arranged with the same cylinder in the same shaft as the special piston. So I cannot find this engine on board the ship, so I don't know where this engine is being fitted or being used. So this is the end of the discussion. So I hope you learned something in this discussion, and please click like and share, write your comment below this video. Please don't forget also to hit subscribe button if you are first time in this channel, and